So, we're back again this week for what is going to be a very long weekend for me.
Part 1 out of 5, right?
1 out of 4.
1 out of 4, okay.
So I got 3 more movies to see this weekend, but we'll get to that fun topic.
1 more for me.
So we just got out of Hangover 3, and I just want to point out, because this is a very remarkable situation, that she actually showed up on time this time. Well,
yeah,
almost. But like a couple minutes, but close enough.
I ditched a MacBook for him. I was about to purchase a very
Yes,
nice
the sacrifice is so valiant. Oh, for the sweet... I had a joke, I lost it.
It's okay.
Something about princesses and whatnot, but anyway. So yeah, we got up Hangover 3. You already saw this before I did.
Right.
I didn't really care for this one, I'm not gonna lie.
Really?
I didn't hate it as much as I thought I was going to, but I didn't particularly care for it either.
That's kind of how I feel. It's like I don't hate it, but I don't love it. But
like,
I feel like...
I still had a lot of parts I strongly hated, but it's not 21 and over hatred. Although, oddly enough, I have the same main issue with this movie that I did with that one. Which is... The characters in this movie are horrible people.
Okay, well, you have to look at the last 2 Hangovers.
I saw the last 2 Hangovers. I thought he was pushing it with the second one. I already thought he was psychotic, and they should have locked him away in that movie.
They did, and he escaped.
No, I'm not talking about Chow.
Oh.
I'm talking about Alan.
Oh. Well, yeah. I don't know.
This man is psychotic.
And that's why people like this movie.
And a horrible human being.
He's not exactly a horrible human being. Like, you know he has these high morals that other people don't, but he's just weird.
No, he's a horrible human being. I'm sorry. I can't, no, there's no gray area in this. He's just horrible. He says horrible things to people. He just acts like a spoiled brat for the whole movie. He just says and does these horrible things to people. But we're supposed to like him.
I heard you chuckle, though.
A couple times. Like I said, that's why I didn't hate this movie. A couple times I kind of chuckled, if only out of the absurdity and because of John Goodman, and we'll get to him.
Oh, yes. John Goodman.
Fucking love John Goodman.
His glasses, man.
He can be in anything horrible, and I still love him. I don't care.
So should we kind of give an overview of Part 3 for those of...
I guess if we're going to talk about the third one, I probably should know it's Iron Man, but just talk a little bit about the first 2, which is like... Okay, the second one is basically the first one all over again, right down to the main plot points.
Pretty much. I mean, Stu gets married in the second movie. The first movie, Doug gets married. And then the third movie, they don't exactly follow the same outline that they did in the first 2
So they
movies.
actually tried a different story, which is refreshing in comparison. At the same time, though, they didn't do that much altogether different when you really think about it.
The intro was a little bit different, but then the rest of the movie was very predictable.
Like, if you look at the story structure from this one compared to the other movies, it's not exactly the same, but it's pretty close, which is
right.
Doug goes missing, the other people have to go find someone else to go find him, pretty much. I mean, it follows, it's very formulaic, it's very a typical gross-out comedy, you kind of know what you're getting yourself into.
Exactly.
I mean, like, if you like the other 2 Hangover movies, you probably won't have a problem with this one, at least not that I can see anyway.
But if you didn't like the second one, then I wouldn't.
If you thought,
like
like me, like the second one was the exact same movie as the first one, and you thought already the characters that we were pushing their luck, this one was just kind of tipping over the edge. It's like, it just... I don't know, just the way this... I mean, I have nothing wrong... I have no problems with Jack Gyllenhaal, whatever the hell his name is. Every time I say his name, it sounds like Elmer Fudd. Gyllenhaal. I mean, I've seen him, genuinely try to act. He's not a bad actor. I've seen him, he has potential. He's a comedic actor, but the problem is, his character, the way he's written here, just makes him just this horrible human being who just treats everyone around him like shit. And again, he's the one we're kind of supposed to be rooting for. He's kind of the one we're supposed to want to change, but at the same time, he says and does these horrible things that makes you not really care.
But I feel like he makes the Hangover movie. If he didn't exist, if his character didn't exist, no one would really care about this movie. I mean, you've got...
Maybe that's for the best.
You've got a dentist, a very, straight-edge dentist, right? And then you've got Bradley Cooper, who plays, the teacher, who's kind of, the leader. And then you have Doug, we don't know much about Doug.
The guy is in all 3 movies, and I think he totals out to 20 minutes the entire trilogy. The problem is, like, this movie should have never gotten a sequel to begin with, let alone 2. Like, that's kind of what the main problem is. So it's already stretching a story that should have never have continued.
But honestly, the fan base, I believe, is what propelled this movie. Like, people would probably want a 4th one, to be honest. And it's like, come on, we're done with Fast and Furious 5. Why are we making
6?
Exactly. Then they're gonna make another one.
You're gonna
this
make
is the
another
same
one.
exact thing. Like,
at least that one has Jason Statham.
really?
It does. He was in that post-credit scene.
Oh.
So that could be fun. Raj has seen that for a 3rd time tonight. I still can't believe that.
I haven't even seen the 6th one yet, so.
Anyway.
I'll ask Raj how it is. But
it's okay.
This is the kind of movie where if you've seen the first 2, you might as well watch it just to finish the story off. But really,
even then, I wouldn't really say it's a story you need to finish off. Again, it's already stretching out a story that's kind of already non-existent. I mean, it kind of loosely ties in elements from the first 2 movies, but you know that wasn't the plan when they went into it. That is stuff they randomly picked out. It's like, oh, we can kind of expand on this, so let's go with that.
I wonder if Black Doug was even the same Doug from the first movie.
They could have easily switched actors.
Because he was wearing glasses the whole time. Did you notice that?
I didn't actually.
Okay, so let's talk about a couple things that we were really annoyed at. So, can you talk about what we both noticed?
Let's go over the story a little bit too, because this will lead into the grievances we had.
Okay.
The story happens this time. No, there is no marriage at the beginning of the movie, although there is an end. We'll get to that. But this time it involves around Alan, who, after being a horrible person to his father, he dies.
Why?
He acted like a spoiled brat.
No, because he purchased a giraffe, and
where did he find that?
The clearance off the freeway ramp.
Where did he find it? Where did you find a giraffe just lying around? Like, can I have it?
Like, you can't think like that with these kind of movies.
No,
like, where would you get a machete gun? I don't know.
But it's not just a machete gun. You get that off the black market. But this is a giraffe. This is a big ass giraffe. Where did you find that?
So he causes this huge traffic
like freeway
collision.
closes down.
Yeah.
Like, it decapitates the giraffe. And of course, they basically have an intervention where the dad freaks out, but the dad dies of a heart attack shortly after. Again, after he acts like a horrible person to his father.
Right.
And he then goes and go to the wedding where he sings the song you've seen from all the trailers.
Ave Maria. Do you really think he's saying that? I don't think you did.
There's no fucking way. Come on. I will admit, he had good lip sync, but there's no way in hell. That's like saying Ron Burgundy played the flute in Anchorman, all right? And before anyone calls me on that, I looked it up. No, he did not. I actually had an argument with somebody on the YouTube video about that.
Really?
Yeah, somebody tried to call me out, and I called their bluff. But I won. Actually, he's not a bad guy. But anyway.
We're watching Anchorman 2 together, by the way. Yes.
I have till October to prepare for that.
Anyways, okay,
so yeah, that happens, and after the funeral, it basically is like, okay, finally, we have to have an intervention. He stopped taking his pills, and he has to do all this. So they have an intervention. They decide they're going to finally take him someplace to get him some medical help, which I thought they should have done after the second one, after he drugged everyone purposefully, but especially the guy he didn't like. Anyway, I can't get into that, going to rant about the second movie. Anyway. Where was I going with this? Right. So they go on the way over there. They get. I should also mention the movie begins with the jailbreak for Chow, the Chang for community fans.
Yes.
For community fans, we all know him as Professor Chang, but that's another thing. Which I want to make a chain pun, but I can't think of one on top of my head. If you watch Community, you'd understand. But anyway.
Oh, I've seen clips. On your cabeza.
Yep, that's the one.
Yeah. So their paths cross
after they pretty much ripped off Shawshank Redemption, probably purposefully. Obviously, they kind of meant it as kind of a parody thing, but it's done so quickly it doesn't really matter all that much.
Didn't they do a parody in the first movie too, when they're going down the stairs and they're going to the casino?
I barely remember the first one.
Okay, all right. I just know someone told me that there was a parody of a Tom Cruise movie.
It's entirely possible, but I don't remember off the top of my head.
Okay, so back to the
they steal the scene where it's in a prison in where was it?
Bangkok.
Where the second movie took place, and you have the scene where there's a poster in the room, and he rips open the poster, there's a hole in the wall, and you get that zoom out shot with the guard looks to the sun, and then just zooms out, which is straight from Shawshank Redemption. And then, of course, again, doesn't really do anything more with that. But the reason I'm mentioning that is because when they start driving Alan to this help clinic, they get rushed off by John Goodman, who plays a drug lord called Marshall. And by the way, John Goodman is the best part of this movie.
It's very
because he's pretty much replaying his part in The Big Lebowski, which is one of my favorite comedies. So,
okay.
Have you never seen The Big Lebowski? Mm-mm. Oh my God, you haven't seen Shawshank Redemption? You haven't seen Big Lebowski? Oh.
No. I know, judge me all you want.
I'm not judging, I'm just astonished. There's a difference.
Oh, really?
Okay, not that much. Anyway, we'll fix that at some point in the future.
All right.
Anyway, so he plays Marshall, who basically recruits him to find Chow, because apparently he stole like millions dollars worth of gold from him.
$240 million
A lot.
in gold.
A lot of money in gold, and he wants it back. So he sends the wolf pack to go find him, because apparently Alan still keeps in touch with Chow in jail. He was the only one that did, so he thinks he's the best one to find him. Turns out he was right.
They meet in Tijuana, Mexico.
Yeah, it's oddly enough, this movie, the big promotion thing with this movie is they're going back to Vegas. They don't go back to Vegas till the third half of the movie.
Like, you expect, they're gonna go back to Vegas. They're gonna go back to Vegas, but they end up going to different places beforehand.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like I honestly thought it was like, okay, when are we actually gonna get to Vegas? I was kind of like,
oh really?
I thought they kind of stretched it out a little too long. Now, Shane is one of those characters you're either gonna find really funny or really annoying. Guess which camp I fall under?
Annoying?
Yes.
Why?
It's too over the top, zany, and you get like the Peter Griffin laugh, which gets old after the 5,000th chuckle. I mean, it's kind of during the first couple movies because it was very quick. Like, you didn't really see him that much, so you didn't have that long to get on your nerves. Mm-hmm. But it's like, in every crappy sequel to anything where they have the sidekick character who is kind of funny, kind of annoying, but not in enough movie to become truly annoying. But in the sequel, they realize how large of a fan base they have that make him the focus, and he becomes really annoying.
Okay, I could see that point.
Cars 2 is a perfect example of this. I'm still working on that review. Anyway. Where was I going with this? Right. So yeah, they follow the chain around, and of course they try to drug him. They explain what's happening. It's like, okay, fine. I can get... they kidnap Doug in exchange for... Again. Doug goes missing again. In order for the wolf pack to find the gold and bring it back to him, and Shane with him. Buys like a certain time out of it.
So Leslie Chow shows them this model of his home, and they eventually break in.
And by the way, they stole the joke from Zoolander.
What part? Oh yeah.
There's a part
what
where...
What is this? A center for ants?
And then, of course, she goes like, we're not robbing that house, right? That's way too small. It's like,
Correct me if I'm wrong.
That's fucking Zoolander. I don't even like that movie, and I know that.
Such a good movie.
Okay, anyway, so yeah, they go rob the house, and they take the gold using a sledgehammer just because it's buried behind a brick wall. So Bradley Cooper has the hammer, and he starts bashing away at this wall, and he gets the gold.
Successfully,
and they give it all to, I almost called him Chow. And then he proceeds to lock the door, and I'm like, haha, suckers, and then he closes the door, and then he runs away.
This is the part.
And this is what pissed us both off, where there's the part where they start saying, it's like, we can't get it! There's a sledgehammer right down the stairs! Problem solved! And of course, like, the police get involved. It's like, you could have saved so much effort, which is...
Because, like, how long would it take for the police to get there? Like, a good 30 minutes?
Okay, maybe not that long. At least 10. Like, that's more than enough
all
time.
The way up in, like, the villas. Like...
Yeah, that's true. So, like, yeah, at least 20 minutes. You could have easily gotten out of there before then.
And I figure, like, if you can go through all those adventures and think with, like, that little small of, like, a scope of getting clues, you would... use the sledgehammer.
That would seem like the logical conclusion, but that wasn't privy to the plot. Yeah. So therefore, that wasn't what happened. I mean, they could have showed like the sledgehammer up the stairs behind the closed door. At least I would have said, "Oh, okay, there it is."
I don't understand. There's no excuse for not using the sledgehammer.
No, it's just lazy writing. Yeah. It's like if we don't show it, it doesn't exist. Movie rules.
So, okay, what was another thing?
And then there's the part that comes later in the movie when they finally do get to Vegas. And of course you have all the tie-ins. And this is one other thing. This is why I really just despise the character Alan. Especially, like, what happens is, of course, after Chang runs away, they get caught by the police. And then John Goodman finds again, gives the John Goodman speeches, which...
Oh, God. When I first saw that, I was like, holy shit. They just successfully broke into his house.
Oh, yeah. Like, it turns out it was actually...
It
was Marshall's house. I should have seen this coming. I didn't, surprisingly.
It's like, oh,
yeah,
crap.
so it's like... And, of course, John Goodman is a great actor. He just tends to appear in a lot of not-so-good things. Because, like, you probably haven't seen Barton Fink. I seriously doubt you've seen a movie called Barton Fink. Look it up if you ever get a chance. But it's like, he's a fantastic actor, and like I think he's the best actor in this movie, in my opinion. Bradley Cooper will probably be up there if they actually tried to do anything with him. But Bradley Cooper's just kind of there.
I would argue...
Well, he's highly underutilized. How about that?
I guess.
He still does something. He's still kind of leader, but it's mostly Zach Galifianakis's show, pretty much, most of the movie.
Yeah.
Bradley Cooper and Stu are just along for the ride. They barely get any attention in comparison. But where was I going with this? Oh, yeah, so John Goodman says, like, you broke into my house, I'm gonna kill Black Doug for some reason.
I feel like killing Doug's today.
I feel like that was a good line. I guess, like, most of the times when I laughed is because John Goodman was on screen doing, like, the John Goodman act, and I love him. I know, I'm sorry, like, there's some actors I gush about. John Goodman is one of them.
What did you think about his scene revisiting Chow?
Oh, where you mean just straight up tries to shoot him? I freaking loved that part. Because he has a much better ending line than, like, a freaking Chow did when he... what happens for background, and we'll get to the other part that annoyed us because it leads up to this part. But they finally catch Chow in Vegas and lead him back up to this cliff overlooking Vegas, and Goodman says, I just want to have a conversation. Because they have Chow locked in the trunk of a limo. And he goes, pow, 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 and he goes, end of conversation. I was like... That is the best line of the movie. And then, like, of course, Chow's not in the trunk. He moved to the back seat where he shoots both of them and he goes, what was the line?
I don't remember.
See, not nearly as memorable.
The first time I saw it, I was just so shocked that he actually evaded all those shots. Like, I really thought he was dead. I
wish.
Oh, but John Goodman says when you have that virus, like, Chow is a virus.
Yeah.
If you're lucky, you kill him in the back of your trunk of your limousine, or something along those lines.
He has the best lines in the movie. Like, he's a madness. You don't talk to madness. Like, he has the best villain lines in the whole movie. Like, I feel like it should be more about him than about Chow. Then again, I'm a shameless man crush on John Goodman, apparently, as is fairly evident.
I feel like the writers of The Hangover 1 and 2 took the fans' popularity in, like, certain characters and then elevated it in this movie, and that's probably why you're frustrated, because they put more emphasis on Chow, they put more emphasis on Zach Galifianakis.
Well, it's like, yeah, like you said, exactly, actually. It's like it focuses more on the characters that have gotten more widespread attention from the fans, not necessarily on the characters that are actually decent human beings. But more just like, oh, look, this guy is zany, we want more of him, or this guy's wacky, we want more of him. Not like Bradley Cooper or Stu, who just kind of get lost in the background, or essentially. Or even, like, Heather Graham's character. I don't know how to pronounce it.
Heather Graham again?
She plays the escort from the first movie.
Oh, okay, the ex-escort.
You're just kind of there like, look, she was in the first movie.
Same with Jamie Chung. Saw her for, like, 5 minutes.
Oh, yeah, the wife from the second movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, there's a lot of, like, Doug and Doug's wife are both those kind of characters.
Yeah, they've always been those kind of characters. I don't even know their name. We don't even know their names.
It's like, come to think of it, wasn't Doug's wife pregnant in the second movie? Like, that's never brought up.
I don't remember.
Like, I don't know. That's something that fact stuck in my mind. And I was like, because that was there, but it was never talked about in the second movie either. So I was like, are we just not going to talk about this? Is there like an elephant in the room? I don't know. But then you have like the little kid again, and this kind of pissed me out because I felt like this was not funny. This was just despicable. Whereas like
the father scene.
The father scene, whereas Alan finds the little baby from the first movie, except he's like 4 years old now, and he basically says like, kid looks at him and says, "Are you my real dad?" And he goes, "Yes." Like, that's not funny. That's horrible human scarring for the rest of that child's life, thinking that this weird bearded freak is I'm sorry, I shouldn't use the word freak.
Weird bearded man.
I'm a freak too. Just point that out there. I don't judge harshly. Well, actually, I do. That's why I have this show. But anyway, I was like, I just thought that was really despicable. I don't know. That stuff like that, or like the way he talks about his mother, and it's like when he's like, I wish you were dead instead of her. It's like, that's not funny. That's just mean-spirited.
The worst thing that he ever did for me in this movie was when his house cleaner was reading this like letter, and then he goes,
that was horrible.
Like, tosses his glass and he goes, someone should really clean that.
That pissed me off.
That was the worst. I was so shocked when I first saw it. And then seeing it the second time was still shocking.
This is what I'm talking about, though. He's a horrible human being who treats everyone around him like dirt. And it's just... No! I'm sorry. I'm getting really high-pitched.
When he talks to Cassandra's mom, and then they have this mutual, like, connection because they both treat their old parents badly. I'm just like shit, they're gonna have crazy, terrible babies.
Oh my god.
That's what's gonna happen.
So to give a little clarification on that last statement, what happens is when they finally track down Chow to Vegas, they find Bradley Cooper's, I forget his character's name. Phil. That was it, Phil. Phil's minivan, which Chow stole outside a money for gold shop.
Cash
and
in
in there,
pawn shop.
Yeah. And when he walks in there, you have the girl from Bridesmaids / Mike and Molly playing the registered lady. And of course, he and Alan apparently hit it off by being horrible people to their parents. Because her mother's on one of those scooters. You know which scooter I'm talking about. And of course, like, shut up, Mom, nobody likes you, and stuff like that.
And then we witnessed this weird, intense, like, moment.
Are you talking about the lollipop thing?
Yeah.
That was just weird.
It was weird, but you can feel the, like, attraction between them.
I will give it that. They did have surprisingly good chemistry. It's... still gross.
But I'm not saying it wasn't, but I'm just saying it's there.
You know what? That's something I'm not gonna judge. Love works in mysterious ways.
But good for Alan. Like, that's
even though you're a horrible person.
I kind of think that's a good way to end the movie. Like, you know, introducing this new character, Cassandra, and, you know, him being married to her. Kind of ends the wolf pack, and this is exactly what all three of them wanted. And maybe now that he's gonna be married to this woman, he can kind of slow down. Like, she seems a little bit more sensible than he does, you know?
Even though he's still a horrible person.
I mean, he might, I don't know, he probably might not get better with parentals and respecting them in that sense, but
he's still a horrible person. I keep coming back to that because that's important. No matter what way you look at it, and I have the same problem with Punch Drunk Love, is love by itself does not inherently fix people's flaws. They are still there. They just know.
Let's just hope there aren't real people out there like that. Because I don't even know.
I certainly hope not, because we don't need a fourth movie. Oh yeah, and then the second thing that pissed us off, finally getting to that, after mentioning like 500 times, is a part where Chow, after going to Vegas, like rents out the penthouse to Caesar's Palace.
Which is made out of marbles, apparently.
Yeah. Okay, so then of course, like, Phil and Alan find a way to get down there using like a rope tie. You've seen it in all the trailers. If you've seen the trailer, you've seen this scene.
You've seen the
Not much is different from that. I don't know why you would have Alan climb down with you, to be frank. Firstly, I think I would just wait in the car. Just wait in the car. I'll go take care of this. I'll just meet you down there. First, that's what I would have done, because it's one of those people, you bring them along with you, but you don't let them do anything. Realistically speaking. Granted, if we're going for realism here, we're going to be here a long time.
And then he gets trapped in between the E and R of Caesar's Palace. Was that actually, there was a lot of tension in that scene.
I will admit, there's some parts that were actually surprisingly good, like building up the tension and all that stuff. It's like I didn't think it was like one of the worst movies I've seen this year. But God knows I've seen a lot worse. But it's like there were some good parts to it. There were some parts like I chuckled a few times. There were parts that made me laugh, and I guess this movie did, to its credit, did raise the stakes of raise the stakes. It made you feel tense and all like chemistry and stuff like that. There were some parts that were done well, but just I felt like there was a lot that wasn't. And again, we're finally gonna talk about this, for God's sakes. So Chow, to escape Caesar's palace, uses a parachute that he apparently has on standby to jump out of the building. And again, you've seen that in the trailer too, where he flies through there singing "I Believe I Can Fly." And Stu is chasing him using the limo they got from John Goodman. And by some miracle, Chow ends up landing on top of the limo, and they have this little driving scene. And this is where both of us got a little annoyed. Well, you more than me, I think, on this one, oddly enough.
Yeah.
But where the iPhone that Stu's holding, he drops it and he lands in between his foot, the parking brake, and like the floor of the car. So basically, you can't press a parking brake.
Which is bull. Just the way that the iPhone was even facing, it was this way. It wasn't this way. Maybe if it was this way, I would believe it, but it just doesn't seem physically possible. And if anything, he could have kicked it with his foot. iPhones aren't that heavy.
To be fair, to give him credit though, if you have an Asian man hanging on the windshield of your car with a parachute blocking the frontal view, you're not gonna have much time to think.
But he could have stopped.
Okay, I can see it. Personally, I just think if iPhones are so incredibly sensitive that if you can basically destroy the thing by accidentally dropping the concrete, I would think you just smash down the brake and you freaking knock it loose.
Right.
It's like, screw the phone, I'm pretty sure your life is more important.
Yeah, and the odds of him crashing into the limousine is just... How many limousines do you see in Las Vegas? But it's just something I have to overlook, because you just have to go with it.
No, you don't.
Just like how you have to go with the fact that Alan is a jerk face.
That's a pretty big thing to overlook. I'm sorry, I can avoid, I can get over a little nitpick here and there if I enjoy the rest of the movie, but if I don't like your main character, that's a problem. Then you can't just get past that. Like, if your main character isn't a likable person,
maybe
or
to you,
or an interesting person, maybe just me.
It seems like a lot of people like Alan. I don't know.
Maybe from the first here, it just seems like they just like every movie they made, they just elevate his negative quantity and just make him just a more and more just unlikable person.
See. Okay, I see where you're coming from. So you would have liked if Alan changed over time for the better instead of just like fueling this personality of like this
selfish, this negative, selfish man-child. Like that's pretty much the problem. Is they did change him. They just made him worse because they thought that would lead to more laughs. And like I actually kind of enjoyed the first Hangover. I'm not gonna say it's like the godsend of comedy, but I did get a good laugh out of it. But he was likable in that movie because he was kind of the stupid one, but he was still kind of. He was kind of innocent. He was kind of endearing, but...
Well, arguably, he gets married, like I said. Don't you feel like that is a step? Because...
It's a step, but like I said before, those negative qualities don't just magically go away. At least not just... it's not like you fall in love and all those things, the negative qualities just go away. Those are things you need to work on. Like, that's what I like about, like, Silver Linings Playbook compared to most romantic comedies, is, like, the fact that they deal with those issues, they address
42.
it. Which one?
And he is 42.
Oh, yeah. So I was like, it's just... I don't know. For me, it's like, I'm trying to find a way to describe this makes sense. I just feel like with every new addition they made to this movie, they just elevated his more negative qualities just to get a laugh, but without really building a character. If that makes any sense.
Yeah.
And even then, the character doesn't really grow that much throughout the movie until the very end.
None of the characters really do, though.
And that's another problem I have with it. Again, it's Alan's show. The other characters get shoved to the sideline. Like, nothing really happens with them. They're just more witnesses to whatever the hell Alan's doing. And that's pretty much all their role in the movie, too. Same kind of goes for Chow, although Chow has a much bigger part in this. He has a bigger part in this than the other two people.
I feel like he grows the most out of everyone. I mean...
The sad part that's actually true.
Yeah, like, God.
Chow actually does kind of have a strange little evolution through the movie.
Right, like, I think he realized something when he was talking to Alan. He's like, hey, I'll call you next week. And then Alan's like, no, we can't be friends anymore. And he, like, dropped the brick, and he was like, wow.
But even then, it's still at its core a shallow written character, and that's kind of what it comes down to. These characters, for all intents and purposes, are very shallow. There's not much to them. That being said, I'm not saying I expect every character in every comedy to be Citizen Kane, but I'm just saying, just something for me to cling to, something for me to like, okay, this makes him a good person. But I'll like up to that point, there wasn't anything that showed us he was a good person again until like the last 20 minutes, when all of a sudden like now he's in love and that makes all his negative problems go away, and now he's like now he's getting married and that fixes everything. But it just doesn't work for me. And maybe if it does for you, if it does, fantastic, all the power to you. But it just for me is like I need more than that. Mm-hmm. So for me, that doesn't leave me satisfied.
More for you to care about the character.
Exactly. So it's like, that's where I'm coming from on this. Now, I think that's all I got. So do you have any more spiel saying, or should we move on to trailers?
No.
Okay. Now, you walked in the first trailer, but I've seen it like 500 times at this point. Internship was the first one we got.
Yes.
Now, I've said my piece about it, but what do you think?
Wedding Crashers all over.
That's what I thought.
But, I mean, the concept is interesting. I haven't heard anything else. I haven't heard anything like that. I'm wondering, though, if it's going to be... It might change people's perception of how it really is to work at Google. Like, it could
I
be
seriously
really, really
doubt
good,
that.
I don't know. It's interesting. That's all
I
I
don't think
say.
anyone's going to be in the theater going, interesting. This is how Google... No one's going to take this seriously. It's another one of those comedies. It's like... You wouldn't watch, say, The Proposal and think that's what the workplace is like, for example.
Oh, what part? Oh, you mean like
the
The
whole
Witch
movie.
is Coming,
Yeah.
The Witch is Coming.
Just anything in general, like Office Space and like that. They're just comedies that are taking a basic concept and blowing it out of proportion. Mm-hmm. So it's like, I don't think anyone's going to take it seriously or actually think of it as a real reflection of the workplace. It's just a straightforward comedy. It looks pretty unremarkable. And then we had White House Down, which I've said before, this is actually neutral. I haven't seen this one before.
I don't know how I feel about it.
It's kind of strange because it's directed by a guy who made 2012, which already scared the crap out of me and Grant. But at the same time, in the first trailer we saw, it looked more like a serious disaster movie like his other movies. But this one makes it look like a really weird buddy cop movie.
Yeah. You take two really good movies from last year, Django and
was that Jamie Foxx?
and 21 Jump Street. And then you fuse them together and
There's
you
a
get
blend.
this like wannabe like real I don't know how I feel about it. And that's why I asked you in the theater, how do you feel about this? I just never imagined I never imagined Jamie Foxx
and that one guy who was in Expendables 2 for 5 minutes.
Why am I forgetting his name?
It's like Chris. Is it
He
Chris?
he was in Magic Mike. How could I forget your name? Okay, you guys know what I'm talking about though.
You watch Magic Mike?
Yeah, that's what girl has it.
But about male strippers, okay. You haven't seen... Oh, whatever, I'm not going to get into it.
Yeah, I think it's an odd mix, to be honest, but we'll have to see.
Okay. I don't really trust the director, so my hopes aren't really high for that one.
What else did he direct besides 2012?
Independence Day.
Okay.
And another disaster movie. Oh, Day After Tomorrow.
Oh, man, all those extreme movies.
Yeah, that's what I was expecting out of this one. That's what I thought it was going to be. But then all of a sudden it turned to a buddy cop movie, and I was really confused.
For me, for 2012 was like... It was pretty scary for like 40 minutes, and then halfway in the movie, I was like, what else are they gonna...
Running away from lava for an
it was
hour
like
and a
just
half.
ridiculous. I'm just like, all right.
Like, what was one comedian else I was making fun of the movie? Where like he runs away from lava and like he gets in a car and the lava speeds up to match the car and they get to a plane and it speeds up even more.
Just a little bit, just like.
Or it's like you kind of want to turn around and go, okay. It's like lava's gonna go. You called our bluff. Okay, everyone go back. But
What was the other trailers?
I remember we got one more. I don't know where the fourth one was. Did we get a fourth one?
So it was.
The other one was Grown Ups 2.
Oh!
Which I groaned when I saw and I knew what was coming.
That's also one of those movies where if you've seen the first one...
I seriously doubt the continuity is going to be a big issue in
I don't know,
this.
I enjoyed it. It was like a feel-good movie for the first one. It's like something you can't take very... something you have to take lightly. It's just... I don't know how to describe it.
I'm sorry, I
categorize certain movies...
I guess if you are more forgiving than I, all the power to you.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm trying to say.
That being said, I am not an Adam Sandler fan.
So you don't like Happy Madison movies at all?
Well, he hasn't made a good movie, and since
Click?
Click was not a good movie.
Oh, it was
It was not a good movie.
It was a good movie.
I tried watching it. I like had to turn like, this is stupid. Horrible movie.
No, it was pretty good. You know what was really bad? It was That's My Boy. That actually was not that great.
Yeah, the one where you advocate in like freaking child molestation because it's
and
okay.
Child obesity.
How is child obesity worse than child molestation?
I'm just saying they're both bad, not equally, but they're both bad.
Because just because it's the woman teacher and the little boy, that somehow makes it more acceptable if it was the other way around. Double standards.
Exactly. That's what makes that movie interesting.
It's a despicable concept.
Yeah, it exists.
And then Jack and Jill.
Oh,
which I won't even dignify with a critique.
Okay, so those are the trailers.
So, yeah, that's about.
Those are the trailers.
So
much.
Yeah, Grown Ups 2. The fact that we've been talking about other Happy Madison movies tells us that's really not much here. I know it has the douchebag from Twilight in there, but
oh, you mean
we don't want to the J word.
J.
If we keep acknowledging
Taylor Lautner.
Yeah, that guy, the guy who played.
That was interesting. There were a lot of, which Michael hates, name droppers in the second movie of.
Well, I know Shaq's in there for some reason.
Shaq was in there. David Spade, Rob Schneider.
Well, I mean, they don't really say name drop. There's just A-list actors, and more name dropping is like, "Hi, Rob Schneider." That's name dropping.
Okay, I get it.
Not just if they have A-list cast. That's a whole different thing.
Okay.
But yeah, final thoughts.
No final thoughts. I mean, go and watch it if you've seen the first two. Just finish the story and. That's all I can say.
If you're anything like me, you'll probably hate this movie. But
he chuckled.
I chuckled a few times.
No,
it's better than 21 and over. I will give it that. But there were some decent parts. John Goodman's good in it.
You said that like
because I have to cling on to something. I have to have hope. It's going to be a very long weekend.
What'd you think of the music? We never talked about that at all.
I don't remember any of it. Oh yeah, I know there were some parts I'd like. This is the "I Want You to Care" music where they have like the like especially when the bridesmaid chick comes in, they have like the music a lot like this is a romantic scene kind of thing. You should care, character development.
They had some Kanye West at the end.
Did they have some Kanye West?
They did, and when they were walking, which was kind of cool because in the first one or two movies, I think they featured him as an artist. So that kind of was a nice time.
Before I forget, we need to talk about the after credits scene.
Oh, that scene.
What was that?
They were like
they gave him man titties. Just clearly fake, plastered on.
They're so big. Like, the first thing he said to everyone was like, guys, we're so crazy. I'm wearing women's underwear. How could you not see? Did you, like, look through your, like, tits or something? Like, how could you notice that and not these, like...
I think they were hoping you'd be distracted by the man tits to not really pay attention.
I'm just saying, like, Stu didn't notice. He noticed the underwear first before his, like... His new implants.
So basically, like, the last scene, after he has his wedding, he goes, I have to move it, where he's supposed to be growing now, where Alan says, I'm moving the wolf pack, I'm a grown man now, I have to do this, blah, blah, blah. Next scene is where they're all pretty much remaking the intro to Hangover again.
And then Chow comes out of nowhere.
Naked again.
We had a sick night, bitches.
I'm sad I have to see that man's penis for 3 movies.
Has it been 3 movies?
It has happened in all 3 movies.
Wow.
And that makes me sad.
Wasn't as bad as the second one, though. Even I didn't know what that was when I watched it.
Why?
I was just like, what is that?
Why'd you remind me of that? Now it's in my head.
And of course we have the monkey making a cameo appearance again. Not wearing the Rolling Stones jacket. There was like a machete gun. There was like a motorcycle that...
A machete gun?
Yeah, how do you say it?
Machete's like a kind of sort of not really sword.
Oh. Then what would you call
machine gun.
A machine gun. A machine
like
gun.
a heavy duty Gatling gun. That's
okay.
Machete gun. I would love to see a machete gun. Just a gun that fires machetes. That'd be awesome. And that's how you end your movie with a machete gun. But yeah, basically just like, look, we're gonna kind of like maybe we'll make a fourth one. Please don't. But
For me, it was more following that concept.
it was trying to bookend the series basically
exactly.
by repeating the scene everybody knows. So
And what's his name? Their friend, who's never in the scenes. Oh, Doug. And Doug is nowhere to be seen again.
yeah, he keeps he's like, this must be the fucking best gig an actor can have. Where it's like, I don't even have to be blamed if these movies suck. I'm just gonna be here for like 20 minutes total through all 3 movies.
20 minutes,
And
10
then,
minutes before, 10 minutes after, I'm set.
it's like Robin Williams in The Big One. It's like, hi, I'm Robin Williams. There were 5 minutes. Where's my paycheck? Thank you. Goodbye. Okay, so I think that's all I have to say. And
Yep.
now I'm still thinking about Jane's penis. But,
He's gonna think about that before he goes
gonna haunt my dreams. Okay, so that's all I got. On that note, I'm gonna try to get Chinese in now, and we'll be back tomorrow with Epic. Both of us will be back tomorrow for Epic, so we can see the relic of the 90s and 80s, which is the pretentious environmental animated film. So that should be a fun exploration.
Yep.
So we'll see you both then.
Bye.
Why won't you turn off?